This is a Ghost Dog mixtape original.
Welcome to Gh0stDog's Big Talk, and I'm your host, Gh0stDog.
It's your boy Gh0stDog, back at it again with another Tap In Tuesday over here at the Aboriginal Sports Network. Cheer! If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really doesn't cost you anything. And if you've been here before, leave a like, leave a comment. You feel me? Smash the little bell button so that way you always tapped in and ready to tune in for when I come in with the Tap In Tuesday. Simple mathematics, really. If you follow the science, you'll help us help you get better content. Think about it. Now that we got the intros aside, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. The clock countdowns and on we go. We are close to 2 weeks out about just now for training camp, official training camp. About maybe like a month away from official preseason action. So, us Giants content creators got to find some things to look around and, fill in the spots for the off season, as you will. I've said it before. I'm going to keep saying it again. I always got my ears tapped and tuned in for the information that comes my way. So I've addressed this before as far as like the tight ends. Got a little bit of news here from a former tight end of ours in the form of interview via Plexico Burris. Now, we as Giants fans know what the whole Dan Waller situation was. I'm not going to revisit it too much. It was somewhat of a debacle, even though we did get Brian Burns out of it all. That being the case, and saying all that, I think we can just chalk it up to a complete waste of time. But to sit here and act like there weren't valid reasons for it, I think would be a little dismissive for Darren Waller's part. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I feel like he should have never even... I feel like the moment they traded him, he should have just been like on Simone, like, yo, look, like I really don't want to be here. Let's try to figure this out another way instead of wasting each other's time. But it was played how they were played. It is what it is. But to give some perspective on this, I got an article here up from Giants Wire written by Dan Benton. And he goes on to say, veteran tight end Darren Waller has shocked the New York Giants twice, because he is in recent news now for being traded to the Miami Dolphins after retiring, right? We all know this as Giants fans. Since being acquired in a trade with the Las Vegas Raiders. Once when he decided to retire in 2024, and then again when he decided to end his retirement last week. Admittedly frustrated with his role, Waller recently revealed that his decision to call it quits came in week 6 of the 2024 season, midway through a game against the Buffalo Bills game. Now, us Giants fans recall that game very well. Kind of got robbed there towards the end. It is what it is. There was just a whole lot of nonsense going on throughout that game that had us scratching our heads. Just not to stir and stew and old misery and old wounds. I'm not going to get too crazy into that game, but it was noticeable just how abysmal Darren Waller's play was to a degree. Even though I give him credit, he did. I want to say he made a couple plays, man, but towards the end there, it was just like whatever. And it was like a whatever situation for this entire offense. I don't even want to put it all on Darren Waller either, because that would be unfair. Because a lot of this stuff has variables, depth to it. You know what I mean? It's difficult to want to play for somebody who you're just not vibing with. So the article continues, right? Waller's decision to unretire also came with a caveat. He wanted to play for the Miami Dolphins and requested a trade. Now that's a little weird. Why Miami? And not to go too deep into Darren Waller's past and his trials and tribulations, but man, a person who has gone through what he has gone through to want to be in a type of an environment like a Miami, surrounded by that, I just hope that this man has nothing but the best people around him to talk him through these types of things. Not to get too deep into that, because this is not what we're here for today. The Giants and general manager Joe Schoen obliged, obviously, because Joe Schoen's going to try to recoup what he can from that whole situation. Shipping Waller to South Beach, along with a 2027 7th round pick in exchange for a 2026 conditional 6th round pick. So what led to each of Waller's abrupt decisions? Former Giants wide receiver and Super Bowl champion Plexico Burress believes he knows. Shouts out to Plex, legendary Giant, mind you. He goes on to say he came to the Giants and they had him back there playing fullback. I remember that. Burress said during the Up On Game podcast, "You're a tight end. You're not built physically or mentally as a tight end to be running up in the 2 and 4 hole, pause, taking on middle linebackers and linemen. It's a big job, big responsibility. Darren Waller don't got the frame for that." And remember, they brought him in to be a number 1 target. So why is he running as a fullback anyways? Brian Daboll, head coach, play caller, after he wanted to take away play calling from Kafka. See what I'm saying? That's not how we are built as players. Because remember, Plex is talking from a receiver perspective. Darren Waller was a receiving tight end. Waller did gripe about playing fullback, so that's a logical conclusion. However, Burress thinks it was more than that. I think it had to do more with a lot of things that he had going on outside of football. And I don't really think he wanted to be in New York playing for Brian Daboll. I really honestly believe that, he said. It wasn't a good situation. Daniel Jones is at quarterback. They weren't using him as a tight end, which is what they brought him in for. Correct. I agree, Plex. And that's the issue, right? Going back with Brian Daboll, you're the play caller now. Why are you doing this? Knowing what you brought him in for to begin with. You're literally putting him in a position where not only is it counter-effective on the field, but it's also counterproductive to his health, knowing his injury history. You know what I'm saying? We obviously had Daniel Jones at QB. We don't even want to get into all that. But remember also, too, and not to get too much into his personals, he was going through that situation with his ex-wife, who is the player, Plum, her name is. I forget her first name. Who is the player for the Las Vegas, which I forget the name of the team. Excuse me, I'm having one of those brain fart moments, but was married to her, went through a messy breakup, played for a team he didn't want to play for, in a city he didn't want to be in, for a coach I'm sure he didn't want to play for. But my question is, why Miami? Why Miami? It's just weird, man. And again, I just hope he has the right people in his ear, because Miami, man, I've never been, but I've heard plenty of stories to know that if you got money and you're in an environment like that, you can lose your way. I mean, you could do that in New York too, but Miami's Miami. Okay? Miami's Miami for a reason. So, nothing but the best for that man. It sucks that he had to go through that with my team. But, that being the case, it is what it is. Peace be the journey for that man. And I wish him nothing but the best. It's a good thing that Joe Schoen, at the very least, was able to get Brian Burns and a conditional 6th round pick. So that's a good thing. But, like I said, big ups to Darren Waller and prayers for that man. But speaking of tight ends, to move on to bigger and better things, another Giants Wire article. Dan Benson, shouts out to him, man. He does good stuff over there. New York Giants Thomas Fidone caught the eye of Travis Kelce at tight end university. Boy, oh boy. Rookie Thomas Fidone II was one of the 4 New York Giants players to attend this year's Tight End University, hosted by Kansas City Chiefs veteran Travis Kelce, San Francisco 49ers superstar George Kittle, and retired great Greg Olsen. Fedone was joined by teammates Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, and Chris Manhertz. But it was he who apparently caught Kelce's attention. He goes on to say, Thomas Fedone, I got some pretty cool compliments from Kelce just out of the blue. Fedone told KETV. He told me I was extremely athletic and moved extremely well. He told me that the top of my routes were really good. He didn't say it like that, but he said it. So just being able to hear that from him was cool. I thought it was awesome being able to just connect and make connections with all the guys around there. Being able to meet with the guys, work out with them, get different input from everyone, and kind of see how they do things differently. Each tight end is different and he has different skill sets and strong suits. So it's fun to be able to learn from them. In addition to sharing the praise he received from Kelce for Done, a 7th round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, also credited current Nebraska head coach and former Giants assistant Matt Rule for being NFL ready. So what does this mean? It just kind of confirms how I've been feeling about this kid for a while now. And don't get me wrong, I didn't even know about this kid until Pat brought him up. Shouts out to Aboriginal Sports Network. You can check out, I believe we have an interview with the young man right here on the channel. It's just, I saw the tape, saw some of his footage, man. Came out of nowhere for me up until I learned about him through Pat with the interview a little bit. But after seeing some game tape, as I said, man, this kid just has this ability to just get the ball and make plays after the catch. Like Travis Kelce gave him the compliment at the top of the routes, man. It's just something about his athleticism, able to snatch that ball out the air, at the top of the ball, at the top of the arc, and just come down with it, make plays on his feet after the fact. I said it once in the previous video, he has George Kittle qualities in me. He really does. It's just a certain way he moves, a certain way he plays the game. I am locked in with this kid. And if they can get these tight ends involved, make no mistake about it, I see Thomas Fedone as being somewhat of a sleeper. I really do. Especially, man, who knows? We all don't know how the season can go. Knocking on wood, obviously. I want Russ to finish this year. I do not want Jackson Dart, to start at any point in this season for any reason outside of that he is ready to start. But having a type of player like a possible player like a Fedone of what he could possibly be, what I think he could be, having him as a young player that can learn alongside a Jackson Dart, man, major key to his development and major key to his overall success in the future. Make no mistake about it. I like that type of stuff. It works. It just does. But switching gears here a little bit, transitioning a bit. But shouts out to the tight ends. Brian Daboll, you got to get them involved. Kafka, allow him to call the plays. Simple. Right? Don't forget, Kafka used to do offensive play calls over at Kansas City, so he knows what it is to incorporate tight ends. Okay? So there's that. But to switch gears a little bit, talking about this defense a little bit that got me excited. Excuse me. Player by the name of Micah McFadden, linebacker, plays alongside Bobby O. So, Giants linebacker Micah McFadden was recently named the Giants' most promising building block. I agree. Couldn't agree more. McFadden makes stops all over the field. Yes, he does. But we're going to talk about it. He led the Giants with 107 tackles last season. He went off last season. More importantly, the downhill linebacker has registered 26 tackles for loss in 3 seasons as an impactful run stopper. Major key. Major key. McFadden must be more consistent, key word, in pass defense. I think he needs to be more just consistent overall, not just in pass defense. But he has 6 pass breakups over the last 2 years. And this is via the Bleacher Report, Sleeper Giants community post. They have an account here on X. Now, what does this mean? I just think that, as they said, he's a building block. He's a glue guy. Shouts out to NYG22. You need glue guys on teams, right? For every Bobby O, you need a Micah McFadden right next to him. And pay attention, because when Bobby O came here, his first year, when we was under the Wink Martindale defense, Micah McFadden complimented him, right? It was a tandem. Last year, Bobby O took a little bit of a dip. New defensive scheme, new defensive coordinator. I get it, right? But Micah McFadden stepped up a little bit, and he kind of took over a little bit. The problem is, with that major key word, consistency, is that's just what Micah McFadden's problem is. He has a consistency issue. There's so many plays that I've seen him just make in the open field where I was like, good stuff, Mike McFadden. That's what I want to see out of my middle linebacker, my linebackers, right? Problem is, for as many times as I've seen him make those good open field tackles, I've seen just as much, if not more, tackles where he missed completely. Just completely, had an offensive player run by him, escape his wrap up or whatever have you. Too many times, if not more than what he has with his successful stops. So that's just the only thing for me. Shane Bowen has the pieces here. There's no reason why Micah McFadden and a Bobby O can't be better this year, a second year into this new system. Should be no reason for that. Especially given that we're going to need them to be able to stop the run. Especially within our division. Okay? So there's that. But speaking about stopping the run and this defense, and hey man, look, I get it. Darius Alexander, he looks to be everything as advertised. And I cannot wait to see him on the field next to Dexter Lawrence. But there's also somebody else who I kind of want to see next to Dexter Lawrence that we haven't really been talking about. And I understand, I get it. He might not necessarily play the 3 tech good or what have you. I think he can. I think he could play either the 3 tech or the other tech, but that's neither here nor there. I want to see just how good Jordan Riley, what type of leap he can take this year compared to last. Because he kind of fell to the wayside a little bit with the emergence of an Elijah Chapman. I ain't going to lie to you. A little bit, just a smidge, right? But here's another article I have here. Giants' third-year defensive tackle preparing to take that next step, right? The New York Giants are forming an elite unit on their defensive line, featuring some top-end talent and plenty of depth. Couldn't agree more. Leading the unit is all-pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, who has been working tirelessly this offseason to maintain his status as one of the league's elite defenders. He is a top 3 defender in the league. Make no mistake about it. He really is. Dexter Lawrence is that dude. Lawrence has been training this offseason with renowned private defensive line coach Mark Hall at Mark Hall Enterprises at Instagram, alongside other Giants defensive linemen. Third-year Giants defensive lineman Jordan Riley has joined Lawrence to train with Hall this offseason as he prepares to take that next step in his career. In a recent interview with Empire Sports Media, Mark Hall highlighted Riley as one of the standout players at his offseason camp. Jordan Riley, as well as, man, he's here, Hall revealed. He's coming. He's coming a ways too, man. Jordan's got a lot of twitch, got great footwork, cuts his shape. He's able to get small, get skinny, even as a big guy. He's cut some weight down from last year. Major key for me. He's looking really, really good. He's been one of the better looking players in camp this year. We watch film sometimes, he goes on to say. So what does this mean for our defensive line? What does this mean? It means that our defense, our strength is just going to come from this front seven, point blank period. Having a Jordan Riley behind a Dexter Lawrence, behind a Nacho, behind Elijah Chapman, or in front of Elijah Chapman, however you want to work it. Having Jordan Riley here alongside of Darius Alexander and those other key players alongside of Dexter Lawrence just means that Dexter Lawrence is going to be able to get his breather and make those plays when we really need him to make them. What was the major issue for this defense these past couple years? Especially on this defensive line standpoint? Injuries and depth. Injuries and depth. Every time Dex had to go step on the sideline to get a breather, or he went down for a game, God forbid, or whatever the situation was, it was just like a complete leak in the wall. Just an absolute floodgate open type of situation. Jordan Riley helps stop that. Having that quality depth stop that. And I saw when we drafted him, man, the kid had nothing but talent, raw talent that needed to be shaped and molded. And this is why I'm so excited to see where Darius Alexander can become, because for me, Jordan Riley was way more raw than Darius Alexander. But they both have good footwork and they both have explosive hands. And I like that. And I want to see what both of these players can become underneath the mentorship of a Dexter Lawrence. And let's not forget, Nacho's in the building too. He's a veteran, and he can definitely teach these young bucks a thing or two, at the very least. So, again, to wrap up the whole situation with the defense, Shane Bowen, listen, there should be no reason why this defense is not playing on an elite level this season. We have the pieces. Okay? Might be some questions in the defensive backfield with the DBs, specifically the cornerbacks. But if we can stop the run and keep the pressure on the quarterback, that is going to make those question marks in the backfield as far as our corners and our safeties, and more towards our corners, because I'm confident in where the safeties are at, especially with the addition of a Devon Holland. As I said, it's going to make their job so much easier if we can just stop the run and get after the quarterback. But that being the case, we also need this offense to step it up and average more than 21 points a game. I think they can do that by involving their tight ends, especially if we can get that young man, Thomas Fedone II, involved. But as I said before, man, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. We can only get better content for you guys if you help us help you. It's really that simple. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Shouts out to the Aboriginal Sports Network. I'll be posting this video there. If you haven't subscribed to my main channel, it's Gh0stDog's Big Talk, Ghost with a 0. On the road to 100. It has been a long and arduous road. Please, if you can just take a couple seconds out your day to go leave a subscribe, that'd be great. I'm going to leave some content over there. Some of my gaming streams. Pay attention for that. I'll leave some other sports talk commentary over there as well. Shout out to the Aboriginal Sports Network. As I said, the clock and the countdown continues. We will be getting closer and closer as the days go by, and I personally cannot wait. But yeah, man, shout out to the crew. You know the names: TP, Weighted Giant, Pat, NYG22, Coach Ed Gladney. You know what it is, man. Salute and peace.
Let me tell y'all something. Why don't you go ahead and hit that button? If y'all feel the vibe, just click subscribe. And if you appreciate the way I spit on the mic, then please smash that like.